So thank you everyone for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. It's funny, me and Maryna, as we caught up, we're taking bets on how many people would join us tonight for our workshop. I think we'll both, Maryna was like, I or a drink. So it's really great to see these sort of numbers. And for me too, kind of seeing, this idea of like the human civilization from the bush telephone to what we're going to talk about today with AI on our smartphones. It's a wild thing that's happened with us humans and what we're about to develop. So very excited, we'll just drill it. So today, it is an interactive session, which means you can play along if you wish. We have QR codes on the table, so you'll see that there's a printout there, a little black and white for those that can't scan it on the screen. That QR code will give you access to a number of resources, including the workshop slides from today, the prompt guides that we'll be using with ChatGPT, and a bunch of links as well. So if you want to connect with myself and Maryna on LinkedIn, check out our websites, all that stuff is on there as well. But the workshop slides and the prompt guide is there, so you can play along, so you can actually open up ChatGPT if you have it on your devices as we go through the exercises. Now, my role today is actually tech support, so if you are a little bit stuck, feel free to wave your hand and I'll come over and try to help. But I also will be helping by actually showing what we're going to talk to today on the computer. So I'll be sitting there and typing away as we go through the activities. But I did want to kick off one with an introduction. So my name is Luke Hawley. I help businesses connect with the Sunshine Coast community. I do that through our media company, which includes Matters Magazine, Buy Local Sunshine Coast, and B2B Sunshine Coast. Many of you will know us from our LinkedIn local event that we run every month at the Budgem Tavern. So thank you for those in the room that support us with the LinkedIn local events. Matters Magazine, which I took over late last year. It's been on the Sunshine Coast for over 17 years. Free magazines out in the room, feel free to grab one. And Buy Local Sunshine Coast, which is proudly supported by the Sunshine Coast Council, where we provide promotional tools for local businesses. And just this week, we launched free listings. So finally figured out how to do that in a way that doesn't lead to more spam and fraud, all sorts of stuff. So jump on, check it out. Free listings of Buy Local Sunshine Coast, where we'll be promoting your business for free. But I'm known as a connector on the Sunshine Coast. So I wanted to make sure that the very first thing that we do is that you're connecting with the people on your table, just in case you haven't met them before. So we're going to give you just a few minutes to introduce yourself to people on the table. And the question I'd love for you to talk about is, what AI tools have you used already? Go. Connect. So in a table full of strangers, and as we're talking about AI, I almost feel bad to interrupt you, right? Because I think it's one of those like energizing things where we get to share the types of stuff we're really excited about and what we've had a chance to play with. So hopefully, that yes, you've made a good connection just in that short conversation. Hopefully you started to either share business cards or connect on LinkedIn so you can follow up afterwards. If not, make sure you do that. And of course, don't forget to connect with myself on LinkedIn as your Sunshine Coast connector. So very happy to be the challenge to introduce you to someone that can make a meaningful impact on your business. I share this quote all the time. Truly believe the right introduction from a trusted partner can change your life. So now let's jump into the AI activity. All yours.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. So excuse me, I'm taking on and off my glasses today. I'm half blind, so I need to be able to see in the back. So this is what the process is going to be involving. So I started playing around with AI probably about 2 years ago when ChatGPT and Jasper was launched. And I just absolutely fell in love with it because as a small business owner, and I know there's a lot of small business owners in this room, I felt so overwhelmed with every day the tasks that I needed to do. I had my craft. I was an interior designer, so I totally pivoted. And then I've had, my operational task, which was my marketing, my sales, my accounting, creating content was really overwhelming. So I quickly realized that AI can be such an amazing advantage to me and my business. And as I was learning every day, I was doing as many courses as I can. I was listening to other people in the industry, learning from them. I just finished a course through the Sydney University and just doing and constantly actually working with AI and trying to push the boundaries and see how much I can get from them. So I've got a couple of my clients in this room, and it's always so much fun. So ultimately, when people come and see me to work with me, most people have got their craft, and that's what they're really good at. And then they've got, the marketing and all of those things, which most people don't like. And so they come to me and they go, please help me with marketing. And then as soon as we start working together, I can identify all the other challenges. And then it's a matter of, okay, so this is the challenge. Let's reverse engineer that and come up with a solution for you. And that's what Luke and I wanted to do today, was to show you how you can work with AI differently other than just creating blog posts, because that's what everybody does, right? So we're going to work with a couple of different prompts and strategies, and I'm also going to work and show you how I've solved a scenario for one of my clients. So literally, doesn't matter what your challenges in your business are. We all got a number of them, whether that's pricing, priorities, projects, staffing, or new projects. There's many problems that we face daily as a small business owner. So in this session, I want to focus on AI analysis. So I want to use ChatGPT to provide you some ideas and recommendations of solving problems, and especially analysis. So AI is extremely good with helping solving challenges by analyzing, certain scenario in case studies in your business. Before we go into that, why AI? If you fail to embrace it, you're going to be left behind. Your competitors are going to jump in, they're going to embrace it, and they will be better, faster, smarter, and more creative than you. You don't really have a choice. It's not going to go away. It is here to stay. So the sooner you embrace it, the better. I always say and how I approach it is, I'm the professional and AI is my tool. And that's how, when I listen to other industry leaders in this space, and that's how it should be. You can't 100% rely on AI. You need to still be the professional and the tool, which is AI. So is AI only for businesses? No. So if you're a job seeker, think about it this way. If you were an employer, are you going to employ somebody that, is smarter, faster, potentially can save a lot of time, can be more efficient in the way they do their day-to-day tasks? Or are you going to rather, employ that person who is still stuck in the old ways and who are slower? So yes, it's important from a business point of view, but it's also equally important from a job seeker's point of view. So I always like to start with something fun. And this, again, is just another point of, looking at AI and how you can use it differently. So in this prompt, I went to ChatGPT and I said to it, I want you to pretend that you are Gordon Ramsay, and I want you to create a 3-course meal for me and my husband. And I want you to give typical quirky feedback about the meals that was created. So it came back with a starter. I won't read the whole starter, but it's a delicate beetroot and goat cheese salad with candied walnuts and arugula. And then so the Gordon-esque feedback is stunning. The beets are as beautiful and roasted as my last critic. The goat's cheese creamy enough to silence a vegan. And those walnuts caramelized to perfection, not burnt like some of my past contestants. So really, really cool. But I do want to go to the one, so the main course. And if you go to the Gordon-esque feedback, the fun part, I just laughed so hard. And those potatoes, smoother than my forehead after Botox. So, so even with this, so sometimes when I'm stuck and I want to add a little bit of humor to my social media, I would go and I would prompt chat and I would say, create some quotes for me about this topic, but add a touch of humor in it. So again, it's just, looking at AI in very different ways. So looking at something a little bit more serious, and it is about how can I use AI responsibly? So 4 things that we focus on is check, disclose, accurate, and safety. So check and make sure that you are actually allowed to use AI in your business. Disclose. So when you create something in AI, disclose that it has been used At the bottom, we've just made a little acknowledgement, so I acknowledge that I've used the generative AI to create this presentation as an example. Then secondly is accurate. And this is where I was saying earlier I was saying, you the professional and AI is the tool. You need to make sure that whatever it generates, you read through it and make sure that it is accurate, right? And then lastly, safety. Make sure that the content that you put in there's no, it won't, sorry, I'm just can't read this. So operates secure environment. So make sure that the content, there's not confidential information when you put for example, if you upload a document, that there's not secure information that's not supposed to be shared out there in the world. So a real life case study, and I've changed the name, Sarah's Hair Salon. And I've worked with Sarah, and she came to see me and said to me, Maryna, I really struggle with, I'm very time poor. I struggle with, creating my marketing elements, from blog posts to social media posts. It's just a challenge. But then as we were working through the process, we were discussing many other things of her business. And she was saying, I'm also just really, really tired because I feel like I'm not making any progress in my business, and I'm also not making any money in my business. So what we did was, we really went deep and discussed how she does business, how many clients per day, what her overheads are, and for Sarah and for me and probably for a lot of other people, if you don't have the capacity or you don't have the knowledge on how to create a comparative analysis of different scenarios in your business, you're either not going to do it, or you're ultimately going to close up shop because you're just going to struggle. And that's not the way to go. We've got AI now, and I just want you to be aware of what it can do. So in this case, I'm going to show you how we worked with Sarah. So I've created a prompt, and Luke, this is where you're going to probably come in a little bit. So created a prompt, and I said, we will share the slides with you. So just until we get somebody here to come and help us, I'm just going to talk it through with you. I know, right? So the first prompt that I've generated was, you are an expert in financial analysis. I want you to analyze 2 scenarios for a hair salon to give me clarity on the best financial pathways forward. The first scenario is Sarah, the hairdresser, serves 7 clients per day. Each haircut takes about 1 hour and is priced at $100. She employs an assistant who works 7 hours per day at a cost of $35 an hour. The second scenario is Sarah serves 5 people per day, and then she takes on some of the task herself. So there's the first scenario. Second scenario is she serves 5 clients. She takes on some of the tasks herself. It literally did a little bit of a breakdown of the information that I have provided for it. And then it came back with a profit calculation, efficiency. Then it did the same, a summary of the second scenario with a profit calculation and efficiency. And then it did a comparative analysis, right? So if Sarah had 7 clients per day versus the second scenario where Sarah has got 5 clients per day. And then it came back with a conclusion where it says profitability scenario 1 is significant more profitable. That is not correct. Right. So generally it will say, and we have done this 100 times, it will come back and say that is, the profitability on the first solution is not more profitable. However, the second one is more, but that will ultimately then give Sarah a lower chance of growing her business because she won't have time to have more clients and also not really time to interact with her clients. Can we go to the set? So and I do apologize for that. I can't actually believe that has happened, but typical. So what I then go, okay, so if we've got the two scenarios and I go, okay, but is there a third solution? You can then go to ChatGPT and say, all right, I've now saw the two scenarios. What is a third scenario that you potentially can offer me and give me feedback on? So the third scenario is, in this scenario, Sarah decides to work longer hours and employs a part-time assistant and only work peak hours. So it again did a whole breakdown, the cost and profit calculations, and then it did, scenario 1, 2, and 3. So as I said, generally it works really well, but for somebody that, that's not particularly great with keeping account on books or understanding from a financial point of view, AI is generally really, really good to help you with those challenges. So then we've got a fourth prompt. And so, for example, Sarah went, okay, I do like to go ahead with scenario 2, which is where I've got 5 clients per day and I do some of the work myself. I now need to create a workflow because I need to have a clear understanding of what those additional tasks are that I need to do every day. So ChatGPT then come back with, a breakdown of what my day will look like. So I can potentially go and I can add a lot more information in to make it very detailed. So as you can see there, it came back and it gave a lot of information about things that I need to think of on my during the day. And then, so there's lunch break, there's afternoon client services, and then there's the closing tasks. The follow-on prompt from that is, you specialize in mapping out documents, business processes, and turning them into a map, detailed and easy to follow checklist. Now, as I was creating this prompt, I'm thinking, a lot of people's probably going to say, yes, but how am I going to know, how to do these prompts? And it's actually really easy. So if you were to think of AI, your AI model as a little genie in a bottle, and if you can rub him, it can come up with the perfect scenario for yourself. That is exactly when you create the prompt. It's like, this is the problem. What is the outcome that I want to see? And that is what you need to put into that prompt. And so when you have a look at that, you basically tell it exactly what you want it to do. I want 2 levels in our checklists, the main steps, the specific actions in each step. Please follow the following process. Take your time and read the information about the workflow. Identify the main steps of the process and identify the specific actions in each step. So what it's ultimately going to do is, I've also asked at the end for it to then be exported into a Word document. Are you using the free one? Okay, so we're using the free one because we actually there might be a lot of people that's not on the paid version. So it would then come back with a whole list for you. So ultimately, if I were to use the paid version, which cost me about $30 a month, but it's absolutely worth it, I would then say to it, export it into a Word document, put it into 2 columns for me, one where I can click off the tasks that I've done during the day and tasks I still need to do, and it will then export that into a Word document. You potentially can also export it into an Excel spreadsheet, just depending on what format you prefer. So just looking at prompting from a, different technique. So you've got your briefing session, and that is where you actually brief the AI on what to do. Then there's a Q&A, a Q&A technique where you actually ask it questions to ask you so that it can then create the perfect outcome. So, for example, in the briefing section, you say, who do you want the AI to be? And why is the who important? Because think of it this way. So let's say you and a friend are talking and you say to your friend, what's the symptoms of COVID? Your friend is going to come back and say, you would have a headache, you would cough, and you would feel really sick. But if a doctor asks another doctor what are the symptoms of COVID, the language what it's going to use will be very, very different. So firstly, you always go, who do I want you to be as or act as? Then what do I need you to do? And then how? Provide the information the AI need for you to complete the task with examples. Then on the other side of this, so again, you do the who, the what, and then the how. And in the how, you say, you ask the AI to provide you with a list of questions it has in order to complete a very specific task. So you basically put it over to the AI to give you questions which you will then complete and answer in order for it to then accurately provide you with an outcome. Over here, I've created a template that you can use and you can complete. Again, this is in the prompt library when you scan the QR code. So it starts off with a basic prompt template for, let's say, for example, for social media. You can say, as a marketing specialist, I want you to create content for Instagram or Pinterest or Facebook. The business is based in Sydney. If it is a location, if your location is important, you can add that in. The audience are young professionals, for example. The content type will be a reel. The objectives are to, promote a new product or sign up, just depending on what is the outcome that you want to achieve. The post should be about how to take care of your hair, for example, in summer. I want you to include the following call to actions. I want the tone to be friendly, inviting, professional. This is also very important, especially from a plagiarism point of view, where it then creates contents in your voice. So and also it's beneficial for your brand. So if you are a lawyer, you're not going to have a tone of voice, which is just full of jokes and fun and entertainment. So it needs to be on par with your brand. And then you can include hashtags, or you can ask it to generate the hashtags for it. And then I always ask it to generate the content in UK English and plagiarism free. So that's a basic a template which you can adjust and change according to your needs. So just going back to where we were talking about, the Q&A, so asking the AI to ask you questions. So just another prompt idea. So as a marketing specialist, I want you to create content for my Facebook page. Before completing this task, please ask me 20 questions about my business, my target market, and anything else you need to know. Now, I always say when I coach people, I always say, think about it this way. When you've got an employee sitting on the other side of your desk, think of the AI the same way. So if my employee is sitting on the other side of the desk and I say to him, create me a logo, it's going to come back with something totally irrelevant. Whereas if I say, create me a logo with blue waves, this font, and this is what the business is about, it will be far more relevant. So it's giving the AI enough information for it to then come back with content that is going to be useful to you. So it came back with 20 questions, and we're just literally going to show you some of the questions, but I'm not going to answer it just because of time. So you are, what is the name of your business and its mission? What products or services do you go after? Then your target market, your brand voice, your content preferences, your engagement and goals. So that will give the AI a lot of information in order to then generate the content for your business. Now, I'm going to step off a little bit. I've heard enough about myself and my own voice. I'm going to just give over to Luke so that he can just do the last couple of slides with you. Yeah? You don't need me for that, right?
So another thing you can do with AI is actually ask it to review your work, right? To make sure that not only is it delivering the objectives that you've set, but also it gives different criteria that you might want to use. So the example I've got here is if you were to review, say, a website landing page as copy, and you want to make sure that it's meeting the standards of conversion rate optimization. We don't need to go through what that is, but let's just say it's a criteria, it's a way that we can use to review a landing page to make sure it's leading to higher levels of conversion. Great. So let's put in, so with this prompt, I can copy and paste my copy from the website and then get it to run a series of tasks and basically just rank my website based on this criteria of a score between 0 and 100 and ask it to give me recommendations on what I can do to optimize the content further. So I love doing this. Whenever I build out a website or build out new content, let's do another check just to make sure it is truly hitting my target. One of the other reviews I like to use as well is this suitable for my target market, right? So doing another check, another review of, well, here's who my target market is, here's what I've written, that is suitable. So really helpful tip when it comes to using ChatGPT to review based on whatever criteria you like to use. I thought it kind of like a next level use of using tools like ChatGPT is creating widgets. So if you wanted to create something that you can install on your website. So the example today is a spreadsheet, right? So this is a calculator that we use to determine the return on investment on your networking activities. So it's a really great spreadsheet. It's a really good kind of part of the sales process of letting people know, okay, well, what activities are you doing now? What level of investment are you doing now? And based on the different outcomes in terms of the number of connections you've made, the number of meetings that you've scheduled, the deals closed, are you actually delivering a return on your investment, right? It's a cool little spreadsheet, but wouldn't it be nice if I could turn this into a little widget that I can install on my website and use as part of my sales funnel? So that QR code, for those in the back, it won't work. I tested it already. But you can just go to the B2B Sunshine Co's website to have a bit of a play with the calculator. It's going to be hard to read the code, but it is in the Word doc. But basically what I've done here is crafted the prompt that you can use with the latest model of ChatGPT, so the O1 preview, where it's a reasoning model. So it takes a little bit more time to consider what information you're providing to then generate the content. So using this prompt, it will then generate the HTML code. So I've actually asked it to generate the HTML code, the CSS code, and the JavaScript that I can then install into my website to run. So for those that are, hopefully it's got a bit of some really cool ideas. You're like, oh, here's some spreadsheets or some documents that I use with my clients or within my team that I can actually turn into a widget and install onto my website. And using the new version of O1, you don't need to be a coder, right? You just got to ask it for what you need and it'll turn it into a program for you. It's cool. So that's on there, but do jump on and check it out. It's a really fun little calculator that we put together. And obviously it encourages people to then watch our webinar on how to improve your return on investment on networking.
A massive round of applause. Thanks, girl.